Warm greetings to the learners. This is Dr. Meenakshi. You remember so far we have learned how to calculate the proportion defective. Now just think what will happen if we count the number of defective items in the samples and then we plot them against the sample numbers. So I'll tell you, in such scenario we'll obtain a chart which will be called as an NP chart. Now NP chart, as the name suggests, it is basically just like the P chart, but the purpose of this chart is to provide a better understanding to the operator who may understand actual number of defective items easily rather than the proportion defective. The NP chart has a limitation, that is, it can only be used for equal size sample because the number of defectives cannot be compared for variable sample size. Now you must be wondering why this chart is called as an NP chart. I'll tell you why. Because the proportion defective P, as you can recall from the previous videos, previous sessions in which we have prepared a P chart, we have a proportion defective P, which was obtained by dividing the actual number of defectives D and the sample size N. That is, if you remember from the formula, P is equal to D upon N, or P is the ratio of D and N. So if we try to find out the value of D from that formula, then D will be equal to NP. So that means the actual number of defectives may be represented by NP. So your D is actual number of defectives, so that can be represented by NP. So this is the reason why we call this chart as NP chart. Now you will be wondering what will be the difference if these similarities exist in P chart and NP chart. So the basic difference between an NP chart and a P chart is that instead of plotting the sample fraction defectives and monitoring their variation, we will plot the number of defectives per sample and monitor them. Right, so I think that will be more clear to you with the help of some data examples. So here I have taken some data points. I have taken a problem in which we have a number of defective phones given for a given number of sample. So let's see how we are going to prepare an NP chart for this data problem. Okay, now first of all we will find out the value of P bar. So I'll just write here P bar. So finding the value of this P bar, what we have to do, we have to first of all find out. You remember in the previous sessions we did talked about how to compute the average fraction defective. This is P bar. This is basically your average fraction defective. So that average fraction defective will be the total number of defectives and divided by total number of items inspected. So here we have only the total number of phones given. So what we'll do first of all we'll take a sum of all the defective phones. So for that purpose you have to select this value, go to the formulas, click to the auto sum, you'll get the value of the sum. So what we'll do here now, one more thing we need to write down somewhere, right? The value of N here is given as 45 and the value of K, that is the total number of sample observation, is given 30. Now you'll be wondering what is this 45, because we have taken a problem here. In that problem it's been given, basically I'll just read that problem for you. It is a problem which is based on the manufacturing of a mobile phone. A quality controller randomly inspects 45 mobile phones at the end of the production each day and notes the number of defective mobile phones, and the number of defective phones found each day has been recorded in this chart or in this data value. So from there we got to know that basically 45 mobile phones have been inspected, and every day basically the number of defective mobiles that have been inspected have been recorded in this data sheet. Okay, so here N is 45, that is given, K is 30, the total data points that we have. Now we have to calculate the value of P bar. So first of all what we'll need the value of this, your sum of all the number of defective items that we had, and this will be divided by n into k. Okay, so this way you will get the value of your p bar. Before going ahead, this way we got the value of p bar, which is basically the ratio of sum of the number of defectives upon the number of items inspected. So to make it a uniform value, first of all we'll put a dollar sign at both the points so that we can have uniform values for rest of the sample. Okay, so just have to put a double click here and you'll get rest of the values. So after calculating the value of p bar, the next step is to find out the value of your central line. So for that purpose, I'll just write down here center line, that is also called as NP bar here. So we'll write NP bar. So just to make some settings and we are good to go. Okay, this center line, that is also called as NP bar, right? So what we need here, we need two values here, the value of n and then the value of p bar. P bar we have just calculated, so we'll insert the value of n, that is 45, into p bar, that is your this value which we have just calculated. So now we got the value of CL, that is the center line, NP bar, and the very crucial step to put a dollar sign here. Now after finding out the center line NP bar value, we have to find out the upper control limit and the lower control limits, right? For the upper control limit, as you remember from the previous sessions, we have a formula for that, that is NP bar plus 3 square root of NP bar into 1 minus p bar. Here the difference in the formula is that in the p bar value we used p bar plus 3 under root of or square root of p bar into 1 minus p bar, but here we are not doing that. What we are doing here, we are actually using the formula in which I'll just write it down here for you. NP bar, that means this value plus 3 into square root of again your NP bar into 1 minus p bar, this value, right? Closing the brackets, just check we closed all the brackets, right? So now this is your upper control limit, and again we have to put a dollar sign to make uniformity of the values for rest of the sample. Okay, after this we have to calculate the value of lower control limit, which will be the same formula, but now we will be using the subtraction, that is NP bar minus 3 into square root of NP bar into 1 minus p bar. Okay, so this is the value of your lower control limit, and again we have to do what? We have to put a dollar sign. See, if you remember the steps in Excel, you will never get any trouble while making any chart or doing some calculation. It's very important to remember the steps. All the steps need to be remembered, and you need to know when you are putting a bracket for some formula, you need to close it and everything like that. Okay, so just I'll select the 3 and drag it here, and very conveniently I got the values for central line, upper control limit and lower control limit. So what will be the next step? The next step will be to construct a line chart here. We'll go to insert, we'll take a line graph here, and sorry, just a moment, we skipped a value here. So we have to select these values. Okay, so selecting the values very quickly and going to insert, taking the line graph, and now this is your NP chart. See, okay, for more clarity let's just remove the grid lines. Okay, after removing the grid lines, now we are having our NP chart in front of us. Now it's your choice how you want to put the names or colors and themes, anything. The very important aspect need to be understood here, that this is your center line, right? Center line, or you call NP bar. This is your lower control limit, this is your upper control limit. None of the data samples provided here in this problem is crossing or it's moving from upper control or lower control limits. That means, what does that mean? That means this process is in statistical control, right? So there are no discarded sample points in this particular problem. So we can very conveniently state that for the given problem, for constructing an NP chart, here we have not a single discarded sample points. All the data points, all the sample points are actually in control. The process is in statistical control. I hope this topic has been clear to you, how to prepare an NP chart. So in the next video we'll be taking a problem of NP chart again, but with a different perspective, where there are certain discarded points which are crossing the upper control and lower control limits, right? And we'll see how to prepare a revised NP chart. I hope this session is clear to you. If you have any query, if you have any doubt, feel free to write in the comment section, and also please do subscribe to the channel so that we can have the continuity in our learning sessions. Have a good learning time and keep exploring. Thank you. Have a good day.